What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball for y'all. So I get this question kind of a lot. I talk about assists a lot on the stream and in my videos, and people have been asking, what do you think are the best types of assists though? So of course I made an assist tier list before, but rather than going into all the assists, and especially in season 3, they have added 2 assists for each character, so this would take quite a while. Instead, we can simplify it and go by the types of assists. So this video is what do I think are the 3 best types of assists in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Again, if you like this content, please give it a like or subscribe to my channel. It really does help the channel grow, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot. So with that, let's just hop right into it. What are the 3 best types of assists in Dragon Ball, in my opinion? So first, we have to look at what types of assists are in the game in general. And despite there being a ton of assists, right? So you have about 39 characters times 3 assists. That's a lot of assists you have in the game. They added the B and C assists to the Season 3 patch, so that expanded the amount of assists in the game by quite a bit. There are only a handful of different types of assists. So you have your beams, like SJ Goku, the classic beam. You got barrier, like Android 18. You got a block stun, like Kid Buu. You have DPs, like Adult Gohan. Here you have lariats, like our good friend Bardock. You have blast assist, that's like Trunks Change the Future, or Frieza's assist, right? You have your 45-degree assist. This is like Cell and SJ Vegeta. They strike at a 45-degree angle downwards, very important, downwards. And you have like your other assists that don't quite fit with the other categories. And this would be stuff like Piccolo Orb would kind of be its own thing. Now, out of these, they all have usage. They all have a unique usage, and I'm gonna give a quick summary of what each one is done and is used for first. So as a quick refresher for you, I'm not gonna go super in depth to the different types of assists really. I'm just gonna give like a pretty basic explanation. The beams are what we know, right? These basically ran season 2. They control the ground. They are generally pretty easy to convert off of as well. Obviously it varies by character, but it's pretty easy to convert, especially when you're in the corner. And it enables a lot of characters and covers ranges where some characters might not be able to cover. Or it expands the character's range of action by just clearing the ground like that. So for example, I have 18 here, right? I can angle this up, right? So I could do this. I can angle the destructo disc up and call the beam. I control mad space. The barrier is really straightforward. So it's quite fast, it absorbs attacks. When you have a barrier on your team, so there's only 2 really, there's 18s and 17s. 17s has a follow-up that has block stun, 18s is just this. When you have 18 specifically, you sacrifice combo steps on a team, but you basically kill scrambles immediately by pressing it. You can't be hit at all. There's only a couple of things that break the barrier, and then you could punish them. Block stun is what we're all extremely familiar with. Right? A lot of block stuns, you could do high-lows. Once they get scared of the high-lows, you can add throws, command grabs, whatever, if your character has it. A theme of this game is that it is hard to mix people up, and having a block stun assist on your team ensures that you will not have this problem. So Lariat, we're pretty familiar with this type of assist because Bardock has been very popular in this game. There's a few characters that have these type of assists, so like Ginyu has it, for example. You can put Yamcha in this group as well. Yamcha would be an example of a character that falls into both, right? Both a block stun assist, but also a Lariat assist. They rush forward on the screen, they're generally pretty fast. You can use them for neutral, of course, like this. That's a very common way of using it. And they're also pretty easy to confirm, right? Generally. There are situations where it might be hard to combo with them, but they're pretty uncommon. DP assist is another one that you're pretty familiar with. This is, of course, what won the Season 1 Dragon Ball World Tour. It's an assist that goes up. It is extremely strong in this game, especially because there's not a lot of low commit anti-airs in this game. And anti-airs in this game, generally, you have this and maybe a special move that goes up. So having an assist that does it has been proven time and time again to be really strong. And then other, so I used to kind of put barriers into this group before 17 came out, but Piccolo is just kind of his own thing. This is really strong right now. It's like a homing It follows you no matter where you go. It makes your neutral really, 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 really strong because you could just sit there and watch them. You could approach while you're doing it. All they could do is super dash this, so you're extremely threatening. Now you have 2 on top of that, so besides combos, I'm sure there's combos where you use both in the same combo, the type of screen control and neutral control you get from this is basically like 2 for 1. It's like you call 2 assists just calling Piccolo once. So this, I always thought Piccolo's assist was strong. Now I think it's stronger. So next we have 45-degree assist. I have them on both teams. So we have Cell and we have SJ Vegeta. So outside of the angle being really strong, also they're kind of hard to hit because generally your assists will appear on the ground. Right? So Frieza, here's on the ground. So here they appear in the air. So it makes it harder to punish, and they cover a pretty good angle. They kind of anti-air for you, they just like protect you. And on top of that, they also make dealing with knockdown exceptionally easy. And then last are blast assists, and we have them on both. So we have Frieza here, and we have Trunks here. So of course it's like a blast, literally, it's a huge explosion. They hit in the air, which is kind of nice. They hit on the ground as well. This type of assist is pretty uncommon, but it's pretty agreed that both Trunks and Frieza have really good assists. So how do I feel personally? So it's actually the player 1 team, right? The player 1 team basically has my opinion, right? I think Beam's 45-degree assists and blast assists are the best, mostly because it's all about screen control for me. One of the biggest problems in Dragon Ball is jumping, right? How do you deal with jumping? There's a lot of flexibility of how you move in the air. Of course, characters can vary their air momentum all sorts of ways between using Ki Blast if they have it, they can SD, they could call assist under you, they could do all these things when they're jumping. So assists that both clear the screen for you, like a beam, or catch people jumping, or protect you in multiple ways, I always feel like is really strong. One of the assists I feel like is really underrated, especially since they nerfed it the first time, is actually SSJ Vegeta. This assist, you can say it's Fenrich, and I'd be like, okay, maybe, but as far as this SSJ Vegeta usage, anyone could use it like that. You know, like, he uses a very safe way to protect himself, and usually the big thing that people have against SSJ Vegeta assist is that you can't do mix-ups with it, but you actually can. It's just like you can't take advantage of the full normal 52 frames block stun. You have to deal with the how much frame advantage you have on Reflect, which is still quite a bit. On top of that, he protects you, he covers an angle that is really important to cover in this game. Same with Cell too, and Cell is easier to hit confirm with randomly now than he used to be when the game dropped, which is kind of nice. Now, Trunks and a blast assist in general, again, hit in the air and on the ground at the same time, easy to hit confirm. Being able to just like stop people from moving is just really important in this game. The block stun assists are obviously nice, and they always have good showings. Like, people are always using Kid Buu and stuff. Neutral wins this game more than offense historically, and especially the assist show. So even though I didn't really rank like DP and block stun, because Yamcha's like a block stun assist, like DP I would put like right there with them too, just barely. I just feel like in general these 3 types are slightly less committal than the DP assist, because usually when you use a DP assist, you're doing like super dash DP, or you're moving at them or trying to get over them and DPing, as opposed to like when you're using a 45-degree assist, you can just dash, call it. If you have a blast assist, you can move forward, call it. Like, you cover yourself way more with these type of assists than DP assists, despite DP assists being very good. Barrier I like, but again, you usually have to sacrifice combos for it, especially if you're using 18 specifically. So if you're using 18, you basically have to play her on point. Her assist helps other characters, but they better have high solo damage in order to use it. The things like lariats and stuff are all really good, but the main thing about them is that you could jump away from them. So for example, Vegeta, our boy, he has one, right? So that's good, but it doesn't hit in the air. If you use Super Dash Assist, because that was the original thing with Yamcha, Super Dash Assist is so broken, right? But you can jump away from it. The main thing about having DP plus a lariat, so for example, like the original Kazunoko team, is that if you're on the ground, they could do that, and if you're in the air, they could do that. So they have one for both. But when you only have one, it sounds funny, but you have to aim your super dash. Like, you have to only call your lariat when they're on the ground, or else you wasted your assist call. Besides that, it's all the other things are all like positive. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I did make an assist tier list last year, and it kind of still fits that theme. All the beams, and now there's way more, right? So one of the best things about this patch is that there are way more of all the types, so you don't have to play those specific characters just to have access to those things. So if you're talking in the scope of last patch, you don't have to play like GT or SSJ Goku or Goku Black just so you have a beam. You have a lot of beams available now between like Yamcha, Trunks, Gotenks C, Super Broly C. You have way more options now. Gotenks, I said Gotenks twice. Or if you talk about 45-degree assist, there's a couple more options, but I actually don't think they're that good. I think Cell and SJ Vegeta are still kind of the forefront of this. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Maybe you might disagree. I know some people might value, say, like your Kid Buu or Block Stun Assist way more, again, because of the mix-up thing. I personally don't. I understand why people would like it so much and why they think it's so strong, but you can build mix-ups without that type of assist, so that's usually where I'm at as far as that. Again, if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.